All right. So, as I like to say with these things, as long as everything is working the way that it should be working, we are now live. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel, wherever this day may have found you. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. And I am here with the one, the only, the amazing, the incomparable Audra Russell. And we are here to bring some melanin to your pages. And it's Tuesday. It's Melanin Chat Day. We are back, both of us, on screen, and it's been a while.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Also, shout out to everyone who is already in the chat. Benjamin, Audra, J Monet, Read Love Listen, Vina is here. Oh, okay. Train's running a bit late, so I get to watch a bit live. Awesome. Ash, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good day. And if you guys have not
And
noticed, because Ben has brought attention to it, and I brought attention to it right before we went live. Audra has the hoodie, you guys.
I have this one. I drink out of my Melanin. I should have waited and saved my cup of coffee for the show because I drink out of my Melanin Chat mug. And I have the zip up hoodie that says support Black authors with Melanin Library on the back.
Yeah. So if you would like,
They're so warm and soft.
I'm glad. I was gonna ask how you like it because I like my hoodie, but obviously I am, partial.
It's warm and it's soft. Good quality, too.
I thought so. So, if you are a fan of Audra's hoodie and you would like to get one yourself, you could just head over to shop.melaninlibrary.com and grab yourself one. There are plenty in stock. I almost feel like I need to go grab mine, but it is honestly way too hot in this room. I'm not putting on a hoodie. That would be
But listen, I got my
unfortunate.
fan on because you know the hot flashes. It's going, the sweat's going to come. But
Yeah.
it was perfect because today is like 65 right now outside with a little bit of a breeze. So when I was outside, this was like perfect.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Also, Billy Edwards is here. Hello, good morning, welcome. Glad you can make it live with us.
It's my girl. We be throwing shade in the DMs and Instagram together.
I love how Audra just volunteers that information. Like, yeah, we be talking mess in the DMs, but it's
We
fine.
do. We throw all kinds of shade.
Frederick is here. Good morning. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Frida.
Not Frida. I can't. I can't. Good morning, Fred.
You know you know the whole thing behind that, right?
No.
Did you miss that? Okay, so I was reading his name as Frida Samoa in the Discord. And then one day everybody was having a conversation and somebody was like, "You're a brave man, Fred." I was like, "Fred." And I was like, "Oh, Fred Samoa. Oh, okay. I've had that wrong the whole time.
I can't. I
Whole
can't.
time."
Not
So,
unless you can changing this man's complete identity.
yeah, I did. I did. Like gender, everything, just
Just
wiped it all out.
everything. He's just a completely
Hmm.
different person.
Yep,
I
wiped
can't.
it all out.
I can't.
See,
Okay.
when you have these handles, I be reading them all wrong. Like I be putting letters together to make a word that aren't supposed to be making a word. It's.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, there are some people who that I interact with on a regular basis that I'm almost 100% positive do not know that my name is Chelsea because they call me C, and I'm just like, I accept this for who I am. Like, it's fine.
Listen, I'm
It's
here to
fine.
tell you, it's a problem.
Okay.
Listen, y'all, you know me. I'm a little bit goofy, and like I be reading people's names wrong on Instagram all the time too. I'm just telling you. Just saying.
Honestly, I'm always amazed when people are like, "Oh, I'm TikTok famous or I'm Instagram famous," because I'm like, I could probably meet The Rock in real person and not realize that it was him because I'm like, there's no way I run into that person in real life. Like, I would not even be. I don't notice other people when I'm out and about. So when people are like, "Yeah, that's so and so," I'm like, "Is it? Is it?" Because you're gonna look real goofy going up to this person and it's not them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
I changed my handle for Audra.
Yeah. I I'm sorry, Fred. I really am.
Also, TB is here. Good morning, friend. Welcome, welcome. Z is here.
Oh.
Hello. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get into this melanin spotlight for today because we got some books for y'all. We got some books for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, Audra's up first. Go for it,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
It's Stolen Part 2, Grave Misconduct. And
Look
there
at
are
her,
trigger
got a
warnings in
copy
the
of the
front.
book before it comes out.
Yeah, the author gave it to me because I had her on for the first show. And she actually has a character in here named Audra.
Mhm.
And she said in the note to me, we'll see if she makes it out alive.
I don't know.
So
That
yeah.
feels kind of threatening.
Yeah, right. So, is the peacekeeper still watching, or is imitation truly the highest form of flattery? After methodically hunting down members of the Pittsburgh Violent Crimes Unit, they are confident they have successfully solved the stolen pieces cases and that the killer has been correctly identified. That is, until another victim is found in a manner reminiscent of the keeper's unique style of slaughter. As they endure an unyielding internal affairs investigation surrounding the violent death of their colleague, the squad must work quickly to determine if the first set of murders was an exceptionally executed frame job, which means the real killer is still terrorizing the city, or if the new murders are the work of a delusional copycat. The sooner you delve into this twisty sequel, the sooner you'll have answers to every question you had reading the first book.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
And there are
big
trigger
prompt.
warnings in it, so I'm just letting y'all know. For people, it's references of sexual assault, mentions of domestic violence, strong language, bodily dismemberment, many sexual situations, erotic asphyxiation, forced content, extramarital affairs. So there's that.
Well, get into it at your own
But
risk.
yeah, but listen, I thoroughly enjoyed the first book. It was a crazy, twisty, turny ride that I was not expecting, and I enjoyed it. So I'm sure that I'm going to enjoy this one too.
Okay. Okay. Well, you guys know there is a link in the description box below. And I guess it is my turn to give you my pick of the week. So, my pick of the week is We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. And I'm not sure if I've actually talked about this book on the chat before. It's not a new book, it came out in 2022. The fact that we live in a culture where books are no longer new when they've been out for like less than 5 years, crazy. But anyway, I actually have the book this time. So there we go. I picked it up from a black owned bookstore in California. It's called Malik Books. So very cool.
Nice.
And I actually started reading it and I was like, oh, this is good. I ain't gonna lie, I got about 18 pages in and it kind of sent me down a really weird spiral last night. So I was like, this is why I pay for therapy. But also, it was really good. So the description reads, what's more important, knowing the truth or keeping the peace? 17-year-old Avery Anderson is convinced her senior year is ruined when she's uprooted from her life from D.C. and forced into the hostile home of her terminally ill grandmother, Mama Letty. The tension between Avery's mom and Mama Letty makes for a frosty arrival and unearths past drama they refuse to talk about. Every time Avery tries to look deeper, she's turned away, leaving her desperate to learn the secrets that split her family in two. While tempers flare in her avoidant family, Avery finds friendship in unexpected places. In Simone Cole, her captivating next-door neighbor, and Jade Oliver, daughter of the town's most prominent family, whose mother's murder remains unsolved. As the three girls grow closer, Avery and Simone's friendship blossoming into romance, the sharp-edged opinions of their small southern town begin to hint at something insidious underneath. The racist history of Bardell, Georgia is rooted in Avery's family in ways she can't even imagine. With Mama Letty's health dwindling every day, Avery must decide if digging for the truth is worth toppling the delicate relationships she's built in Bardell, or if some things are better left buried. So, I've heard things. Obviously, it's won the Coretta Scott is King Award for
Oh.
I guess looking at it, I'll never read the seals on these books, y'all. But I'm looking at it, and it's just like it's for peace, nonviolent social change, and brotherhood, right? That's what the Coretta Scott King Award is for. And I was just like, oh. And I just started reading it. And it's one of those things where, for me, right? Then I'll take us back to the regular chat, right? Um, I went through a phase. I'm not even gonna lie. I went through a phase where I was just like, oh, I don't want any more, whatchamacallit. I don't want any more stories for me about biracial black girls. Because for the longest, I felt like that's all we got. Also, bless you. I can't hear you. You're muted. She said that's a good thing. You're supposed to. But no, like for the longest, I just went through a phase where I was just like, I felt like every black girl was, biracial or racially ambiguous and had a specific type of hair. Bless you again. Are you sick? Allergies? Gotcha. Okay. And it got to a point where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put these stories down. So when I started reading this book, and they make it, author makes it very clear up front that this is very much a biracial girl. She's got a black mom and a white dad. And I was just like, okay. But I was just like, you know what? No, I'm coming out of this phase of only desiring to see like a very specific subset of identity on the page. I'm like, we're moving past this. We're growing out of this phase, right? And as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this book is actually interesting just off the jump, because Mama Letty is very much Southern grandmother, plastic on the sofa, don't run in and out of my house, but will also cuss you out.
Oh, wow.
Love, right? Like one of the things that she says in like the first couple pages is she's calling the woman next door. Obviously, they are friends. They've lived next to each other entire lives, right? So she's got a key or whatever, because obviously Mama Letty is sick, terminally ill. And so she lets the family in when they arrive or whatever, and the daughter is there. And she said, and so when Avery is like, hey, I want to go get the bags out the car, Grandma's like, take Simone with you. She need to work off all that cornbread. And I'm like, wow, already? Page 5? Wow, we are in for a ride, aren't we? So
I'd be like, and that's why I'm gonna leave your ass right here to die. Bye.
Yeah, and that was
your key.
And that was
get somebody else to check on you.
That was literally Avery's reaction. She was like, I'm so sorry for my grandmother. But the thing is, the girl who she said it to, or about rather, she's like, it's whatever. That's just how she is. That's how she shows her love. And I'm like, there is a very specific subset of black culture where it's like the only way you really know if somebody loves you is if they continuously insult you. Like, that's it. It's such a weird thing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see here. Also looking at the comments, we deserve monuments. I met Jazz Hammonds at a book event last month. Awesome person, awesome book. Very cool. Very cool. I'm looking into getting into it. And discovered this book from browsing the Melanin Library. So slight plug, if you haven't gotten into the Melanin Library, go to melaninlibrary.com. It's an online database of books written by black authors. There's a lot of books on the database, so get into it. You'll find something you like. But yeah, and like Z said, part of the reason that I was in this phase, this moment, right, is because every black girl is biracial in media, but at least the representation of other races in books has improved. And it's just kind of like very much that for a while. And it's still very much like that, especially if you watch commercials. It's like it's always a biracial family, or you have a very black family with a very racially ambiguous daughter. And I'm like, how did that happen? Like, I don't know. If mom's dark, dad's dark, grandpa's dark, grandma's dark on both sides. And we got a daughter who's 10 shades lighter than everybody with ringlets. Love that. I mean, it happens, but also
it does happen. It does happen
every time, though. Every time.
I was just laughing. I don't know if y'all saw the that thing going around where this white couple had a very brown baby. His name was something Jamal, and they were like, oh, the woman has African DNA in her, and her baby had jaundice, and people were like. Oh, so jaundice makes most babies yellow and pale, but it made your baby brown. And the joke was This white guy was like, your baby doesn't have jaundice, your baby has jaquandis.
I can't. I can't.
He was like, yeah. He was like, you had African DNA up in you, all right.
Wow.
Kind of thought. Because it was quite obvious. And then somebody else was like, that baby's middle name is Jamal. That's all you need to know. Sir, that's not your baby.
You know, some secrets you take to the grave, I guess.
Clearly not that one.
Can't say nothing about that. Because I think I know what you're talking about. And I was just like, I'm going to keep scrolling because you know what? That ain't none of my business. And the two tenets I live my life by are I mind my business and it's not none of my business. So I'm just like, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. But just because it's not my business doesn't mean that I won't be paying attention to things that are happening, right? So if you guys are in the After Chat Discord, right, we have been having this conversation about what's going on in the bookish world. And the thing that's happening right now is there's an author. I don't actually know her name, but I know that her book is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, I believe. And I believe, not even believe, she's an Asian author. I want to say she's like a Chinese American, something like that. I could be making that part up. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're listening and you actually know the true details of the story, right? But she is, I don't know, I don't say imploding the book community, but I feel like every so often this conversation comes up that if you are a person of color, if you are Black, if you are any type of non-white person in America specifically, right, then if an author of that identity puts out a book, then you are not allowed to criticize them, not publicly, right? And it's kind of like this unspoken solidarity that is just like, oh, I'm not going to stop you from getting your bag, right? And I've talked about it on the channel, how it's like, you know, I read books by Black authors, and if I don't like it, I just don't talk about it on the channel. I'm not going to be like, oh, I didn't like it unless they do something like super egregious, right? Like the Tara Stringfellow, the woman who wrote Memphis, nah, I didn't like that. I don't really like her personality, none of that, right? But the author of To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, apparently she wrote, I don't even know what the book is about. I ain't even gonna hold you. If you really want to know, you can go look it up. But all I remember seeing on Twitter is that people were like, oh, this author is being review bombed. This author is, you know, being harassed in their DMs and all of this, that, and the other for writing a complex book or whatever. And come to find out that the people who are being attacked, who they're saying are review bombing and attacking her and harassing her and stuff, are people of color, and specifically people of color who exist in the same intersectionality demographic as the author, who are criticizing the book because of the things that went into it, specifically the part where it's a colonizer romance, right? Where person in power is literally like killing off the people of the love interest, right? But they fall in love. So he's terrible to all of her people except for her, right? And people are like, oh, that's clearly a problem. We don't like this. And then apparently, right, these, I'll say, there are a specific subset of white women who decided to take up the banner and defend this author, and she started like stalking them, harassing them, like trying to dox them to the point where some of them had to like close their Goodreads accounts and stuff. And it's just like, wow, this is absolutely insane, because it's just the idea that authors have that, one, people cannot critique your book. That's weird, first of all. That's a very weird thought. But also, I said this in the chat, and I'll say it again here, because I personally, as a Black woman who writes stories that I want other Black women to read, right? If I did something that Black women felt the need to call me out for on the internet, and white women felt the need to defend me from the Black women by calling them racist, I am wholly wrong. I have deviated so far from the path in my life. And I'm just kind of like, yo, like, you don't understand like, do y'all understand the context of this? Of white women calling Asian women racist because they're telling an Asian author that the way she depicted aspects of her romance and culture in the book is inappropriate. Like, is that not absolutely, like, what world are we living in? What world are we living in? I love how Audra's just like, yup, yup.
Because I just don't what's going ahead is like a cadre of things. Like, first of all, if you're gonna be an author and you're gonna be in reviews on sites that do reviews, either don't look at the reviews for your book,
Yep,
or don't be in the reviews section if you can't handle criticism. Just like people, you know, give critiques about movies. Some people love movies, some people hate movies. There have been movies that Rotten Tomatoes and everybody else has said were horrible that I absolutely love, and vice versa. There have been movies that they said were great that I hated. And just the same thing with books. There are a book that Chelsea loves, I may not like. And I know there are certain books that I read that I know Chelsea wouldn't read because she's not about those subjects. And that's fine. But if you're going to be an author and you're going to be reading reviews about your books, then you just need to understand that there are going to be people who don't like your book. And you can either get offended and choose to do something stupid and ruin your writing career, or you can ignore it, or you can see if there's any truth that you could pull out from those reviews that will help make you a better writer. Those are your only options. So I just don't understand people that blow up their social media and all this with all of this craziness with reviews. And it also just takes, like, before the pandemic hit, I've told y'all I was a lazy reader. I read what my library put out on the shelf. So obviously I didn't have a lot of Black authors on my radar other than the canon: Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, Richard Wright, and the few that, like, Jesmyn Ward and N.K. Jemisin. But beyond that, like, Black indie authors, none of that was on my radar before the pandemic hit. None of it. Okay? But then after the pandemic hit and I started looking for Black authors, and I totally forgot where I was going with this now. Shoot. Anyway,
we're talking about critiquing and Goodreads and criticism and liking books, not liking books.
This is what your brain on allergy medicine looks like.
Nah, it's fine. I've completely forgotten points in the middle of my backstory too, trying to give context.
I forgot where I was going with this.
It's fine. The point is,
it might come back to me. Well, the point is, don't be out there. Don't blow up your whole social media, your whole life. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Before I got into before the pandemic, I was just a book reader. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't get all into these reviews and review sites and all this, like, back end stuff. Like, the book community to me was as far as, oh, did you read this book? Oh, okay. Or, I read this book and I didn't like it, but that was it. Like, I never got deeply into the politics behind books until I started this podcast. And I don't even go on Goodreads anymore just because I know the politics behind it. And I'm just like, I'm good. I'm not paying attention to reviews unless everybody just says this book is complete trash. Please do not read it. Then I'll be like, okay, I'll keep it off the list. But if there's something and somebody's like, I don't like it, honestly, it'll probably pique my curiosity and I'll read it to see if I like it. But, it's just this whole politics behind books and people just blowing up their worlds and doxing people over reviews. People are not going to like your book.
It's that part, and it's also the fact that I feel like, and I don't know, I'm not in other, like, super creative communities, so y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really feel like it's only within the bookish community that I hear things like, oh, books should not be critiqued, or if you don't like a book, then you should just not talk about it. You shouldn't tell people that you didn't like the book, or you shouldn't write a long review, or you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, there's no other medium where people are expected to not talk about the thing that they just consume. Like, you don't go to an art gallery and then not talk about the art. You don't go to a movie and then not talk about what you did or did not like about the movie. It's only within bookish spaces that I see people being like, oh, you shouldn't critique the book, you shouldn't critique the author, yada yada yada. And then there's also this whole idea of like you said, political. Like, oh, you shouldn't have to be aware of the author and, you know, how they live their life and so on and so forth. And I'm like, you realize that it always matters who you are. Like, there are people who won't watch certain movies because of who directed it and who's acting in it and the treatment that the actors and people get. Like, y'all act like you can just completely remove people from the art that they create. And that's not true, right? But it's also this idea that you shouldn't. And it's just like, here's the thing that kind of got me when I was going down this rabbit hole of like, oh, what is really happening is Read Love Listen Winter in the after chat, she posted the actual link to the Twitter thread kind of talking about this. So if you guys sign up for the Patreon, hint hint, slight plug, you can see the whole thing, right? But the thing about it for me was, as I was going through it, people talk about review bombing, right? And if you are watching this and you're not really in the bookish spaces, what you need to know about review bombing is when a bunch of people who have like never read the book find out something about the author and they just start leaving negative reviews for the book so that people don't buy it, to like, don't support the author, yada yada yada. If you want to throw it back to the early 2020s, it's cancel culture, right? People don't really like it, especially authors, right? Because I don't know, it puts some level of responsibility on you to not be a terrible person, but you know, that's neither here nor there, right? Here's the thing. According to what I read in the thread, this author was a victim of Kate Corain when she was at the end of last year, when she was review bombing review bombing people of color authors, right? That whole conversation. And so now people are throwing that word around now because she's getting legitimate negative reviews. But here's the thing. All of those reviews are very well written, according to what I read. It's like, it's not just like, oh, 1-star review, like, how dare they publish this? It's like, no, I didn't like this book because of this, 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 and this. And I feel like there's so much space to be had in the bookish community as a whole between like a personal review versus a critical review. And I'm just kind of like, I said this in the chat, but I'm like, you know, people want to talk about review bombing. I'm like, sometimes your book just bombs. Sometimes your book is not as good as you thought it was going to be. Sometimes it doesn't land. Sometimes it doesn't hit with the target audience like you thought it would. The thing that you thought was really cute and that you could overlook, nah, homie, that's not really actually cute. And then I think the thing that got me was when in the comments or whatever, they were like, I guess she was trying to spin it as like a dark romance. And people were like, yeah, no, this isn't like examining toxic relationships. This is just like downright not okay, right? And then it was the idea that these people of color, these women of color who were leaving the reviews, right, they were being perceived as white women, and that's why they were being called racist or whatever. And they were like, first of all, we're people of color, so like, let's check that at the door. But then it's also the wording that they used, because someone also pointed out that they called it specifically a colonizer romance. And the tweet that thread that I saw, they were like, yeah, I don't know what non-person of color is going to call any colonizer a colonizer, right? That's just not how, generally speaking, and I'm going to say white people because that's who the love interest is in the terms of this book, right? That's not how white people refer to themselves, right? So it's just kind of like that, even the language around it didn't even make sense. And it's the fact that this author is targeting these reviewers and being like, oh, let's find them. Let's find all their socials. Like, unhinged behavior.
Like, for real. I wrote Bloodland. Y'all know that. I had a book person reached out to me, asked me for a copy of my book.
Yep.
I didn't even charge her for it. Sent it to her. Okay? She does a whole ass video on all these different books, I guess, that she was reading. And she took my book, held it up by the cover, and said, I started reading it, but I'm sorry, y'all, I DNF'd it. I just didn't like it. It's not my thing. I don't like stories about haunted houses and stuff like that. Now, I was hurt, yes, because she tagged me in the video. So it's not like I went looking for this. She tagged me in the video. And then she, and I'm just like,
Unhinged
my
behavior.
book clearly says that it's about a haunted house.
That
So
part.
if that wasn't your thing and you knew it wasn't your thing, why would you ask for a copy of my book? Okay. Now I could have gone unhinged. I could have done a retaliatory video and said, but my book explicitly states that this is what it's about. Why would you ask me for a book if you knew that's what it's about and you knew that's not your thing? Did I do that? No, I was just like, okay, interesting. And why would you? That was rude for her to tag me in it.
Yeah.
Because why tag me in it when you're just, bashing my book? I could have retaliated a bunch of ways. Did I? No. Okay, because it's not her thing. Whatever. It hurt.
And
I wiped my little tears from my face and, rubbed my little chest a little bit like, it's going to be okay. Gave myself some self-care and I moved the hell on.
and I feel
So,
like that's the thing though. I feel like so many authors lack that self-soothing skill, or just like get a group chat, because again, if you guys know me, then you guys are already aware, and you can go to Goodreads and see. But because here's the thing, authors as a whole, readers ask us to stay out of reader spaces. And as the thing is, when you're in a space functioning as an author versus when you're in a space functioning as a reader, those are two separate things. I'm not going to get into, being both and the duality. The thing is, who you are in that moment, and how you choose to talk and respond to people it matters, right? Also, gonna take a brief moment to shout out Keish Knight, who came in. DL is here. Hello, welcome. Good morning. Also, Deja stopped by. Hello, welcome. Good morning. Wanted to say that while it was on my mind. I saw you guys in the chat. But the thing is, I try very hard to stay out of reader spaces, right? So I try to stay off the Goodreads page for my own book, right? When the book first comes out, I'm there, right? Because like my street team, if they're posting reviews, those are the things that I use to promote the book, right? And if you guys know me, y'all already know. When I was promoting We Are Dying Gods, I had someone like you, Audra, who reached out to me. They were like, hey, I want to be on the street team. I want to read the book. And I sent them the book and they read it. And the day before the book release, like I'm literally putting all of this work into promoting it. They're going to write like a 3-page dissertation on why they DNF'd my book. Right? And it's just like, yeah, that's super hurtful, because it's just like, hi, I'm trying to get people to purchase the book and to support the book. And one of the first reviews is you saying that you DNF'd it. But the thing that for me was super hurtful, it's not even that you DNF'd it. It's, for one, it's like you posted this before the book was even out, and as an indie author, I was just kind of like, okay, I get it, but also if you could have just waited like 24 hours for the book to actually like be out in the world, that would have been super helpful for me, for one, right? But it was also this idea of like, I'm not telling you how to feel about the book or anything like that, but it was just like,
but she was part of your street team.
you're part of the street team.
So that don't make no sense.
And it was super hurtful. But the thing that got me is the things that she disliked about the book weren't even things that actually happened in the book. They were conjectures of things that weren't even in the book, right? And that's the thing that's super frustrating as an author. It's like, it's one thing if people are doing a breakdown of, I didn't like the book for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, that reason. Like if you just straight up don't like Brandy or Noble, or you don't like Assassins, yeah, no, the book isn't going to be for you, right? There's nothing I can do about that. But as an author, to read someone have a dissertation about your book and then to include things that aren't even actually on the page, you're just kind of like, so you don't like this because of things that you made up. Wait a second. That's not even fair. But at the same time, like you said, rub your little chest, talk about it in your group chat among your friends, and then you move on from it. And then you let it go. And then that's it. That's the end of the story. Like, can you imagine how unhinged it would be? Because mind you, the person that, in my experience, they're on my street team. I have access to this person, right? How unhinged would it be for me to go in their DMs and be like, why would you do this? Da, 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 and then just start blasting them online. Like, what the world? It's a book. At the end of the day, it's a book. People aren't going to like it. And you know what? At the end of the day, the way I finally had to reframe it in my mind is that, you know, when these really big authors, I guess, publish their books, a lot of them also get, I didn't like this book, I DNF'd it before their book releases. So I'm just like, okay, badge of honor. I have author achievement unlocked, I guess. I now have negative reviews before the book is even out, I guess. We've leveled up somewhere in history.
And listen, here's my unpopular opinion. When I write my reviews, they are short. I write about how the book made me feel. I do not write dissertations on the daggone book, breaking down everything and every scene that I did not like about the book. Because guess what? I didn't ask you for all that. All I want to know is the book good? Is it not good? How did it make you feel? That's what I want to read. I don't need your dissertation, because most of the people who write them damn dissertations are people who don't have the chutzpah to go and write a book themselves. So they take apart other people's books. Don't give me all that. Go take a community college class in English if you want to write that kind of shit. Otherwise, did you like it? Did you not? It made me feel, it made me, you know, that's what I need. How did the book make you feel? That's how I think reviews should be written. Just give me a paragraph. How did it make you feel? And then let me determine from there whether I want to go read the book. Because most of these long-ass reviews, they sit there like, oh, spoiler alert. I don't need your spoilers. Okay. I don't want your spoilers. I know there are people, I know you like spoiler reviews, Chelsea, but I don't need it.
Because here's the thing. I'm not going to read the book. That's 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to read the book. I like spoiler reviews, especially if, here's the thing. I don't need a super long review if you're rating it 5 stars, right? Because unless you're like, this was great.
Yeah.
What? Reviewers think they're auditioning for the New York Times review. Yeah, look. If it's 5 stars, I don't need a long review. You loved it. Okay. I'm assuming that everything about the book hit what it was supposed to hit, right? If you have less than 3 stars, I want to know why you rated the book this low, because I want to know why you finished it. That just doesn't compute in my brain, because ain't no way on God's green earth, right? DNF. My DNF pile is larger than any bookshelf will ever be able to hold. Okay, I plan to continue adding to it, right? But also, I would just like to know, where did this go wrong, right? Is it the writing style? Is it, because the thing is, there are certain things that I can forgive in a book, right? If you're like, oh, I didn't like the character because she was so annoying and she just wouldn't communicate. I hate a miscommunication trope. I ain't no point in me picking that book up. But if you're like, oh, I rated it 2 stars because I didn't really like the love interest. I just felt like his skin was too dark for me. Okay, you're racist. I'm gonna read this book anyway, because if that's your only problem with it, we're gonna move on, right? I like to know why. And I think on both sides, as like a reader and an author, I'm just kind of like, I would like to know why. If you don't like it, cool, but why? Because the thing that irritates me.
But you could write why in 2 or 3 sentences. You ain't got to write a whole dissertation.
I think it depends on why. On what your why is.
No, ma'am. No. You could still write it in 1 paragraph. I didn't like the book because it has plot holes. It wasn't realistic. You know, these things threw me out of the story, whatever. A paragraph is all you need.
We will agree to disagree. We will agree to disagree, because when I tell you, when the Bookish girlies get into that Goodreads drama and this got like a 3-part comment, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be eating it up. I'd be like, oh, it did this, it did that. I feel like I read the whole book. Because
we have talked about you being a pot stirrer, ma'am. You was that kid that was sitting there, and when kids were getting in fights, you were sitting there like back and forth, just like, ooh.
I was literally the commentator. Oh, Chelsea, what's happening? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, she stole her pencil from her desk and she said to give it back, but she said no. And then she was like, I'm going to do it again. I can take your pencils whenever I want. And so she was like, oh, no, you're not going to be in my desk like that. And then she's like, if you take my pencils again, I was going to slap you. And then she reached for her pencil, so she slapped her, and now they tussling. That's where we at. It's like, you're not going to stop them, Chelsea? I'm sorry. When did I become responsible?
See, she's responsible for giving y'all the blow by blow.
I know,
even adding in the little co-signing that's making the argument worse. But when it comes time to stop, then she's like, "Oh, I'm not in this.
I ain't got nothing to do with me, bro."
She just provides the commentary of which some of it probably made the whole situation worse. She probably like, oh, I'm
not an instigator
like that.
Now, if you ask me if you in the middle of argument and you turn to me, you be like, Chelsea, did you see that? Sure did. Cause I did. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, you should slap her for that. I'm not that person. I'm be like, oh, I wouldn't let her do that to me.
Saying sure did, especially since you know black people have tones. So when you saying sure did, your tone could be like, you gonna take that from her? So you still doing the same thing without
I'm just
actually
saying
it. Your tone conveys it all, man.
I am an innocent bystander. Cause again, some of y'all know this. Some of y'all know this. When I taught 6th grade, them kids got in a fight in my class, and when the other kids started freaking out because home dude was literally thrown across the room, I was like, I suggest you move out the way. And they're like, you're not gonna break them up? No, I'm not. I told y'all first day y'all came here, y'all wanted to tussle in my room. You better be able to hold your own until the SRO officer get here, because I don't get paid enough to do it. Okay? Better take that chin up like a man, take that uppercut like a man, all right? Ain't got nothing to do with me. Go come in my room.
Will throw y'all to the wolves in a second. She will leave your ass high and dry.
Sure
when
will.
I was at Resist Books and there was that door that went to the basement that Demetrius said was haunted, I was like, come on, Chelsea, let's go look. And we walked over there, and then
the problem was, though.
She pushed me towards the door and ran the other way.
Okay, but did she tell y'all that the light was flickering though? And she was like, oh, Chelsea, we got to go turn the light off before we close the door. No, we don't. This is not my building. This is not my responsibility. He already said it was haunted. That ghost don't know me. He know Demetrius. I'm not going down there. What? No.
Like I said, Chelsea, do not. Chelsea is the person that says when the zombie apocalypse comes, she says, I don't have to be fast.
I gotta be faster than
faster than you.
That's it. That's it.
I'm just telling y'all, Chelsea might have mad love for you, but if it's a self-preservation thing, Chelsea is not going to preserve anybody but Chelsea.
Youngest sibling syndrome, okay? Because it was everybody else's responsibility in the house to make sure that I was the last one to get got, all right? That's all I'm saying. Some things stick with you. I carry that in my life. I am the last one to get got.
Youngest sibling.
Huh?
I didn't want to leave you. I'm the youngest sibling in my family, but I didn't want to leave you there. I said, let's go look together.
The problem is you also have mama syndrome, and I ain't got that.
I wanted to go see the basement. She wouldn't go down there with me.
I didn't stop her.
He said there's a chair that moves every time he goes down there. I was like, I want to see.
See, she
make good content for my Instagram page.
Yeah, she didn't want to be exploring haunted houses. I'm like, the house is what? As in it already has a previous owner that's still here? And you trying to sell it to me? I think this is thievery.
Exactly, Billy. Chelsea don't have time for nobody. Chelsea out.
Out.
Chelsea gone.
Past tense. Was here.
Oh.
So I'm just saying. No. Out here being unhinged and stuff. Talking about, let's go look in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If somebody who lives there say we don't ever go in that room, I'm not going in it either. What I look like being a stranger in a ghost home. He clearly has established rules. Like, he said, this room is mine. And they came to an agreement. They live peacefully in the house. They just stay out that one room. And here you want to go, oh, let's go look in it. Let's be curious. That's how people get murdered, bruh. That's how they get murked. And I'm just, no. Let's go look at the strange sound. Let's go see what it is.
I mean,
how about we leave the house? How about we wait till daylight hours? How about we wait till the sun comes up? Let's not go look for the crazy sound in the middle of the night. Did you hear it twice?
And I'm not going to go looking for the sound in the middle of the night, but it was the daytime.
Oh, that was a basement with no windows, bruh. What daytime got to do with that?
Daytime. This is still daytime, and daytime hours are different from nighttime hours when you're dealing with ghosts.
Not daytime hour, nighttime hour.
Yes, they are.
Gotta get the shift that works the morning. Don't get the night shift ghost. He a little iffy.
Nope. A shift ghosts, they just quiet. They go about their business. You might see them out the corner of your eye. The nighttime ghosts, they be playing games. they be touching and pushing and, doing all that evil stuff. Very big difference between daytime and nighttime ghosts.
I can't. Okay, we had a question in the chat. Scrolling back up, I see that we were talking about street teams, and I don't think we ever clarified what that was. So very quickly, street team are, as an author, those are the people who help you prior to publishing your book, who kind of help you like hype it up and promote it and get it in places. They read early copies of it. They give you reviews. They might give you quotes and stuff that you can use to promote the book. They like repost stuff and share things and kind of just generally make some buzz and some noise about your book before it goes out in the world. And in exchange, they not only get to read the book, but some people give out like prizes and stuff. For my street team, I had 3 prizes. I had a free copy of the paperback, a free copy of the hardback, and a free book box or whatever that had all the stuff in with the candle and the signed hard copy and all the artwork and stuff. So yeah, people do it differently, but that's basically what a street team is. They just your homies helping you promote the book, because promoting is literally the hardest part of being an indie author.
For them bookish streets.
Basically, yeah. That's essentially what it boils down to. And then Fred asked, how do you guys feel about writing those dissertations while DNFing the book? I remember that review, Chelsea, and yeah, they definitely said things that weren't in the book. I think we kind of talked about this.
You didn't like the book. Just say why you didn't like the book.
Here's the thing. I also think it depends on the medium, right? Because Goodreads, depending on what you have to say about why you DNF'd, I really don't care. If you just didn't like the book or you didn't have time, I don't need a 15-page dissertation about what you were doing with your life because you didn't have time to read the book. Don't care, right? But if it's problematic, I'm here for the tea. What's wrong with it? I would like to know, right? But I also like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to write a dissertation, but here's the thing. Like I said, I'm only going to do a review for a book that I disliked if it was egregious. Like, I will say this until the end of time. And, shout out to Akira Toriyama, who passed away recently. May he rest in peace. But there's this one book where he said Goku was going to be a good dad. And I just was like, we have to talk about this. And so I made like a 15, 20-minute video talking about all the things that I found wrong with that book in like the first 3 chapters. And that was cathartic for me because I felt like y'all needed to know. But I also feel like for me, I'm like, as an author, I'm like, there are so many things from like a craft level that I just didn't care for. I felt like was also something that other writers and authors would appreciate. Like when you're trying to like write your book. So that's me. And thank you for Ben having my back talking about the basement was dark and was. And the stairs looked like
they went to the Underground
Railroad. Look.
No, they didn't. It's fine though. Whatever.
My husband know who I am, and you know what? I know who he is too, because if I had gone down them stairs with you and I got, he was not coming to get me because he was like, she walked down them stairs on her own. What do you want me to do? I can't fight a ghost. Like, this is beyond me. Those are beyond our borders, Simba. Lion King had it right. He said everything the light touches. Right? He said, what's that dark, shadowy part over there? That's not part of our kingdom. We don't go over there. Here she go trying to take me down some dark, shadowy stairs. Everything the light touches. Light ain't touching that part. I'm not going there.
There was a light on in the basement.
Lights go out. You ain't never seen a horror movie? I need a sun.
The light touched it. The light touched it.
Okay, yeah. Let's go throw Simba in a cave and see if he feels like...
my husband was the same because I asked my husband, I said, come on, let's go down in the basement. He was like, what basement? I was like, that one, because Demetrius says it's haunted. He was like, oh, what are we going down there for then? He was like, see, this is what he said. He was like, that's that 74% European in your blood that is overtaking your senses. And no, we're not going down there.
I think he made sense because I don't know what that percentage is because I ain't never done no DNA test, but I can tell you that for most of it's a high percentage because I was like, absolutely not. No.
Listen.
No. Who thought this was a good idea? I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to go look for things to be afraid. Like, I don't know. That's not cathartic for me. I'm not that curious. Curiosity killed the cat, you know? I don't know. It didn't work out for him. I don't think we should test those results.
Cats have 9 lives, so.
And it still managed to kill him. Look at that.
I quit. I'm just
saying he had 9 chances to get this right and he didn't. I don't know. I feel like we should learn at some point.
Okay, DL. So now the next time you come out here, we gonna drive up to Richmond and we gonna go to Resist, and you and I gonna go down in the basement. So I have it right here, proof, and I'm saying it on video. Okay, she says she don't believe in ghosts. Cool. So you
and
go
then
down
when
there
you get
with
snatched, she gonna be like, "What's happening, Audra?" Because she don't see it. Because she don't believe. She gonna come up, memory completely wiped, forgot she done went down there with you. Nobody knows what happened.
She come back up. Where's Audra? I don't know. She went through a wall. What do you mean she went through a wall?
I have enough trouble already. I need to go looking for more. See, this is why I married Ben, because he gets it. He gets it. But Z, no, I don't like haunted houses. Let me tell you something. I don't find fear to be recreational. I don't find it to be enjoyable. I don't feel like it's something I should be searching for. I don't understand this idea of, oh, I'm going to walk into this super scary thing and I'm going to get the shit's going to get scared out of me. I'm a jump.
I love haunted houses.
I'm a jump and I'm a freak out. Things are going to be reaching for me and I'm going to have nightmare fodder for years. But it was a great time. No. You know, it's a great time sitting in a lazy river in the daytime. You know what's pleasant? Having a nice dinner. You know, that gives me serotonin. Not a bloody clown chasing me through a haunted house. That's just not enjoyable. I don't know who finds that enjoyable. And that 74% is coming out because Audra is like, that actually sounds kind of fun. Like, where did you go? Where can I participate?
Listen. When I took every year my kids, we would go to Butler's Orchard during the day. We'd do pumpkin picking and all that stuff. And then in the evening, we would go to Wicked Woods. This is Catholic school up here. And the whole woods is like a path and it's like all decorated. There's like all this cool stuff, right? We go every year. This is how I know my kids are Libras, just like your ass. Because at the end, there's always a chainsaw guy, right?
Yep, I know where this is going.
There's always a chainsaw guy.
Mm-hmm. Bet you ain't have no part of that.
My kids, as we're running out, they knock me down to leave.
I ain't gotta be fast. I've got to be faster than you.
Me as bait for the chainsaw guy, and it was a real chainsaw. Of course, the chain is taken off, but still, they heard the ring, and they would like pushed me down and ran. I was like, y'all little assholes realize that I have the keys to the truck, right? And none of y'all drive. They were like, we don't care. We gonna make it to the park. We know the way back home. We can walk from here. It's only a mile. I was like, wow.
I can book it, bruh. It's fine.
And my oldest, because the littler ones, they didn't have cell phones. My oldest was like, I have a cell phone. I can call Dad.
Problem solving. That is very much Libra trait. Yep. Because the way I'm not going to get stuck here, no. Horror movies. You don't even get in the car in horror movies in the first place because it's not going to start. It's not going to start. Like, and it's so wild because that's such a real thing. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten to a car and you felt like somebody was following you and you're like, oh, and you're just trying to get the key and the ignition and you're like, why, Jesus? Why is it so dark? Why is this not working? I've done this 100 times. And it's just like, no, not me, not today, Lord. So yeah, no, we don't get the car. Also, I'm not mad at your kids because I would have questions for you because after we all recovered from that traumatic event, I would have to have a family meeting and I would have to address you and just be like, Mother, I don't understand why you thought it would be fun to put my life in danger. The rest of them ain't my problem.
They wanted to go.
You were supposed to be the responsible one here. You were supposed to see the foresight of not being a bad idea to take me, a child, to a haystack where a man is going to chase me with a chainsaw. Where did this sound like a good idea to you, the adult in this situation?
They begged me, because the littlest ones, you had to be at least 11 before you could go through the thing. And once I was like, I'm not taking y'all, because no, y'all not fitting to be up all on my bed talking about you scared. The moment my daughter turned 11, Aaron was like, I don't care if I'm not 11, just sign the permission slip, I want to go. All three want to go. Okay, we went. They left me high and dry. They left me high and dry. They knocked me down and left me there for Chainsaw Man to get.
Well,
and asked to go back every year. It became a tradition. We go to Butler's Orchard, then we would go to Wicked Woods.
Did they knock you down every year?
And every year.
So that's
I would try to,
every
year I would try to get out their way. They would do some shady, somebody was always tripping me or something. They got me good every year. I don't know how they continued to get me, but they got me every year.
Okay, so I just would like to point out with the analogy, Audra said that the cat had 9 lives, and I pointed out that it killed him anyway, and I just want to point out that every year her kids tripped her and left her for the Chainsaw Man, and she continued to go back with them. That's all I'm pointing out. You make your own conclusions.
Your kids ask you to do something, you go do it. It's fun.
That's what I said. That
wow, you would knock me down. Good for you. I expect nothing less from you, ma'am.
I mean, I wouldn't have to knock you down, but I'm definitely lengthening that stride to its full 5'8" potential. Like, we're definitely sprinting at this point. Call me Sha'Carri, because y'all gonna have to catch me, bruh.
Listen, my kids, I am proud of my children's survival skills. I just wish that they would include their mother in that survival, the one who took care of them when they were sick.
They had each other.
Made all their birthdays wonderful.
They had each other, though. They was like, because here's the thing. I also know this, having talked to my brother, there are some things where it was just like, he was just trained. He was like, okay, Chelsea is here. Great, that's everybody. Like, that's it. It didn't matter if our parents were there. It didn't matter if who we came with was there. He was like, I have eyes on the sibling. I can go home. Because if I wasn't with him, if we went somewhere together and he came back without me, he had no home to return to, because where is your sister? Why would you leave her anywhere? How dare you? He was like, nope. Got eyes on the child. We are good to go.
Oh, not my brother. My parents knew. My brother even said, this is how much my brother and I did not get along, because he was a jerk. Now he'll kill somebody over me. But when we were young, my brother actually came out his face and said, I am not going to watch out for her. She can watch out for herself. And my dad said, if you come home without your sister, there will be grave consequences. He was like, okay. Came home without his sister so many times.
Nah.
My parents just gave up. My parents are like,
I think my brother came home without me a singular time, and that man was somber when he returned. I don't know what happened in my absence. But he was somber. He because my brother is very he was very much hyperactive kid. So I was like, great. He was like, next time I come get you, you come with me. And I was like, okay. He was just, I don't know, something in his eyes, his face, his entire personality was warped for like a week. I don't know what happened in my absence. I was never forgotten again, though. That's for sure.
My brother gave no damns about me. He was just like, she'll be all right. She little. She can run. She can fit in small spaces. She's good.
Yeah. Nah. But
like I said, now he'll protect me. Somebody, all I have to do is call him. Be like, Timmy, somebody did. And he's coming from Pennsylvania. But when we were kids, no, I tried to stab him with a fork. My father came home early that day.
I mean, I never tried to stab my brother with a fork, but we definitely got into fights. And it was definitely one of those things where it's just like, obviously he's older than me, and a boy who played who played sports, so he was obviously very much physically stronger than me. I did not care. I was like, square up, bruh, right now.
So did my brother.
But
my brother was tall, and I was like 70 pounds. So they called me T-Bone when I was little because I just looked like the T-Bone from a T-Bone steak. I still tried to stab him with a fork.
Yeah,
we were running around the house because he had been teasing me all day long, and I grabbed a fork and I was about to run him through. And my dad, for some reason, the angels, the ancestors, somebody brought my dad home early from work that day. And as my brother was running past with the maniacal laugh, I was like, with the fork running, and my dad scooped me up by my waist and was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going to kill him. You need to make another child." Wow. He was like, "What are you?" Yeah, I was going to. If I had caught him, I was committed. Going to run him through.
Nah. The fights that I got into, my brother always ended with, "Oh, stop crying. You can hit me back. It's just stop crying. We have to get in trouble." It always ended at that point. But nah,
my brother didn't care.
Yeah, I had good times with my brother. Even now, if I call him and I really needed something, he got me, and I know that. So siblings for the win, I guess. But
I guess now, not when I was a kid though.
But that being said, you guys, it is actually 11 o'clock, so it is time for us to mosey on over to the Melanin Chat. So if you guys don't know what the after chat is, it is the chat after the chat where we go and we have a good time. So $5 gets you in. Link is down in the description box below. And if you sign up, you're also supporting the Melanin Library, so it can continue to exist as a free resource. And you get all the fun tea that happens in the Discord. So you really don't want to miss it.
And we also curse in Discord, too.
I mean, I don't know if that's a selling point, but yes, we do.
Just for me.
I can't.
Be unhinged.
Okay. Also, I don't know if we ever answered this, but Z, Bloodland is out of print. I saw that somewhere in the comments.
Yeah.
Bloodland's out of print. I'm trying to get Audra to make an ebook version of it, but that's conversation for another day.
I need to edit it first again because Chelsea did some wonderful edits, and I just need to incorporate them. I just don't feel like it. I don't know. I feel like my life is just like I wrote my book and I'm done.
I can't. Anyway, that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Come on over to the Discord server for the after chat with us, and that's it. So until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.
Bye, you guys.